Jai Hind everyone, myself Dr. Suman Gotwal, and today we are going to discuss simplex method. So first of all we will discuss about the slack variables. What is the slack variables, what are surplus variable, we will discuss in today's class in detail. So as we have seen in the linear programming also, that we have some constraint equations that are in the form of inequalities. So first of all we have to convert these inequalities into the equalities form. So as we have we can see here also that standard form requires that all the constraints be in the form of the equations, means whatever symbol we are having, whether it is greater than or less than, we have to convert into the equalities form. Okay, we have to convert it into the equation. So in case of the less than equal to, okay, constraint, we will add a variable, and that variable is known as the slack variable. Clear? And if we are having the less than equal to sign, then we have to add the variable to the left hand side. Clear? Because it is showing the weak inequalities. So a slack variable typically represent an unused resources. Clear? And a slack variable contributes nothing to the objective functions. Okay, we are adding some variables to the left hand side to make it in the equation form, but these variables will not contribute any value in case of the objective function, because whatever we are adding or we are subtracting from in a constraint equations, we have to mention in the objective function also, but it will not add any value. Clear? Now we have taken an example here. We can see here our objective function is to maximize z, and z is equal to 40x1 plus 50x2, and that is subjected to two equations that are 1x1 plus 2x2 less than equal to 40 and 4x1 plus 3x2 less than equal to 120. So these two inequalities are showing the constraints. Clear? And then as we have seen in the linear programming also, that whatever variables we are using, we have to give the non-negativity restrictions. So x1 and x2 are greater than equal to 0. Clear? So our main objective is here to convert these inequalities into the equality form. We have to convert these into the equation form. So we can see here that in this case we are using the laser here. So in the first equation we can see here that here we are having the less than equal to symbol, means the left hand side is weaker. Okay, so we have to add some variable in this. So in both these equations we have to add the variables. So you can see here that we have added s1 towards the left hand side. This is known as the slack variable. Clear? And we have to mention it into the objective function also. Okay, so we have mentioned it in the objective function also. In the second constraint, we have, if we want to convert it in the equation, then we are adding the s2 variable. Okay, and we are indicating it objective function. So we have added two variables, or we have used two variables here, s1 and s2, and that we have indicated in the objective function also, but these two variables are not adding any value to the objective function. Clear? Now the same criteria, means all the variables should be non-negative in nature. So we are indicating by this. So these are ensuring, therefore all the four variables are non-negative. Okay, so we have explained this with the help of the graph also. In this you can see here that there are two lines, line A and line C. Line A is indicating equation 1. You can see here, this is the equation 1. So equation 1 is your x1 plus 2x2 plus s1 is equal to 40. Clear? So we will get, when we will draw these on the graph, then we will get this line. Clear? So we can find out the coordinates of A point, and it will be x1 is equal to 0, x2 is equal to 20, s1 is equal to 0 and s2 is equal to 60. So these are the coordinates of point A. Then using the line 2, using the second line, we have drawn a line, that is C, and at point C we can see the coordinates are x1 is equal to 30, x2 is equal to 0, s1 is equal to 10 and s2 is equal to 0. So these are the coordinates of two lines, these constraint lines or equations. Clear? Now we can see in this graph that these two lines are intersecting at a point B, and this point B is known as the intersecting point. Clear? So using these two equations we can find out the value of coordinates at this intersecting point. So for finding out the value of coordinates at point B, we can see here we are having the two equation only, but there are four variables. So what we can do, we will put the arbitrary values, means s1 and s2 we will equate it equal to 0, and then we will solve these two equations for the value of x1 and x2. So after solving this, we will get x1 is equal to 24 and x2 is equal to 8. Okay, so in this way we can find out the intersecting point. So this is the about the slack variables, when we are adding some variables in the constraints to convert it into the equation. Clear? Now second is our surplus variables. So what is surplus variables? So a surplus variable is subtracted from a greater than equal to constraint to convert it into an equation. So we in the last slide we have seen earlier that in case of the slack variables we are having the less than equal to sign, but in case of the surplus variable we are having the greater than equal to sign. So if we are having this symbol in our constraints, then we will subtract a value from the left hand side to convert it into the equation. So a surplus variable represents an excess above a constraints requirement value. Okay, a constraint requirement value. For example, we can see here that this is the inequality constraint, x1 plus x2 greater than equal to 5. Okay, means it is showing that this left hand side is in excess than the required level. So what we will do here, we will subtract some value from the left hand side to convert it into the equations, and the variables which we are subtracting, that is known as the surplus variable. Clear? So a surplus variable contributes nothing to the calculated value of the objective functions. So as we have done in the slack variables, in this case also we will indicate these variables which we are subtracting from the inequality constraints to convert them into the equations in the objective function. Clear? But these value will not add any value, means these will not add any value in the objective function. Clear? For example, we have taken an example like our objective function is to maximize the z, and z is equal to 6x1 plus 5x2. Clear? And it is subjected to x1 plus x2 greater than equal to 5 and 3x1 plus 2x2 greater than equal to 12. Clear? And these are the non-negative restrictions, means x1, x2 greater than equal to 0. Now what we have to do, our objective will be first to convert these two equations, these two inequality constraints into the equations, and we can see here that we have subtracted a variable s1 from the first constraint and s2 from the second constraint. Clear? And we have indicated these two variables S1 and S2 in the objective function also, and then we will ensure that all these variables are non-negative restrictions. Clear? So before starting the simplex method, first of all we have to convert the LPP into the standard form. So what is the meaning of this LPP into standard form? So there are some steps that are involved in converting the linear part programming into the standard form. So first is to formulate the LP model of a given problem. Means whatever is given in the problem in the form of the descriptive statements, we have to convert into the mathematical form. Clear? So that is known as the formulating the LP model. Means converting the descriptive statements into the mathematical form. After that, we will replace all the inequalities by equations with the help of slack and surplus variable. Clear? So we have discussed it earlier also that we will convert the inequalities into the equations with the help of slack and surplus value. Now the right hand side should be non-negative. So we have to ensure it that whatever written in the right hand side, that should be in the non-negative term, means that should be the positive value only. So for example, if we have the negative term on the right hand side, then we have to convert it into the positive value. So for example, if we are having this equation 3x1 minus 4x2 greater than equal to minus 4. So first of all, we have to convert the right hand side term into a positive value. So we can convert in this manner: minus 3x1 plus 4x2 less than equal to 4. Clear? So the objective function should be in the maximization form, and we have to ensure before using the simplex method that simplex method can be used for the maximization problems only. So if in any problem the minimization function is given, then we have to convert it into the maximization form. For example, if it is given minimize z is equal to 2x1 plus 3x2 minus 4x3. So first of all, we will convert into the maximization form. So we can convert it into the maximization form with the help of this formula. So after maximization, we will get maximized z, which is equal to minus 2x1 minus 3x2 plus 4x3. So these are some steps before starting the simplex method. Okay, now we will start simplex method. Clear? So in case of the linear programming, we have seen that it is limited to 2 variables only. But if we have the more than 2 variables, then how we will solve that problems? So we will go for the simplex method. If we are having the more than 2 variables, then we will go for the simplex method. So first of all, we have to find out the basic solution. Okay, basic solution of any given problem. So for example, if we are having the equation like 2x1 plus 3x2 plus 4x3 is equal to 5 and 3x1 plus 4x2 plus 5x3 is equal to 6. So what we will do here, we can see that we are having 2 equations, but we have 3 variables. So what we will do, we will put one value of one variable equal to 0, and we will solve these 2 equations for finding out the value of other variables. Like here we are putting the x1 is equal to 0, and we are solving these 2 equations for the x2 and x3. So the variable for which we are putting the value is equal to 0, that variable is known as the non-basic variable. Clear? And x2 and x3 means the variable for which we are solving the equations, that are known as basic variables. So before starting the simplex method, we should know some terms like what are the basic variables, what are non-basic variables, what are surplus variable, what are slack variables, because we will use these terms when we will solve the problems with the help of simplex method. So if x2 and x3 are positive, if the value of x2 and x3 comes out to be positive, then we can say that it is having the non-degenerate solution. But if x2 and x3 values comes out to be 0, then we can say it is having the degenerate solution. Clear? Now we have taken one example here. And we have taken a simple example for the better understanding, and we can go for the complex equations also. So in this example, one objective function is given, and we can see here that it is a maximization problem. Okay, we have to maximize z, and z is equal to 3x1 plus 2x2, and it is subjected to there are two inequalities equations. First constraint is x1 plus x2 less than equal to 4 and x1 minus x2 less than equal to 2. Clear? So first step is to convert it into the form of equations, to convert these constraints in the form of equations. So we will use the surplus and slack variables. So in the given problem, we can see here that we are using the, having the less than equal to symbol. So here we will add some variables on the left hand side. Clear? So solution you can see here. First of all, we will convert it into the standard form like this. We will convert this constraint into the equations by adding the value on the left hand side. You can see here x1 plus x2 plus s1 is equal to 4, and in the second equation x1 minus x2 plus s2 is equal to 2, and we are indicating these two variables s1 and s2 in the objective function also. So our objective function will become z is equal to 3x1 plus 2x2 plus 0s1 plus 0s2. Clear? Here the coefficient of s1 and s2 variables are 0. Then we will indicate the non-negativity restrictions for all the variables that we have used in this problem. So I have written the standard form again here for the simplification, and now we will calculate the value. We will find out the values of these variables. So we are having 4 variables here, but we have only 2 equations. So how we will calculate the value of 4 variables? So what we will do, we will put the value of 2 variable equal to 0, and we will solve these equations for finding out the value of 2 other variables. Clear? So here we can see that we are putting the values of x1 and x2 is equal to 0. So as we have discussed earlier also, these variables will become non-basic variables. Clear? And basic variables are those variables for which we will solve the equation. So here we are solving the equation for the value of s1 and s2. Clear? So here the basic variable are s1 and s2. So if we want to solve any problem with the simplex method, then we will make a table. Okay, so we have make a table here. So first column is showing the BV is your basic variables. So here we can see the basic variable are s1 and s2. Clear? So we will fill this table. Okay, so basic variables are s1 and s2. So we can write here s1 and s2. These are the basic variable. Then the second column is for CB. CB is indicating the coefficient of basic variable. Clear? And these coefficient of basic variables, the value of these CB we will get from the objective function. Okay, so in case of objective function, we can see the value of the coefficient of S1 is equal to 0 and the value of coefficient of S2 is also equal to 0. Clear? Then the third column is indicating the value of XB. So XB is indicating the value of basic variables, means the values that we will get after solving these two equations. Clear? So if we will put x1 x2 is equal to 0, so we will get the value of S1 is equal to 4. So we will write here 4 and value of S2 will be 2. Clear? So this is the value of basic variables. Then here we are having the 4 variables x1, x2, s1, s2. Clear? So these values we will get from these two equations, means coefficient of these variables in these two equations. So we will go for the first equations. So coefficient of x1 is 1, coefficient of x2 is also 1, s1 is 1, but there is no term of s2 in the first equation. So we will write down here 0. Clear? Now we will come to the second equation. So in second equation we can see the coefficient of x1 is 1, x2 is minus 1, s1 is 0 and s2 is 1. Clear? So in this manner we will fill this table. Now the Cj, what is Cj indicating? Cj is basically the coefficient of these variables in the objective function. Clear? So coefficient of these variables in the objective function x1 means in this equation. Clear? So we can see here the coefficient of x1 is 3, coefficient of x2 is 2, s1 is 0 and s2 is also 0. Clear? Now we can see here these two are basic variables. So these are forming a matrix, this one, and this matrix is known as the basic matrix. Okay? This matrix is known as basic matrix. Clear? Now we will find out the value of delta J. Delta J is basically net evaluation. Clear? Delta Z is indicating the net evaluation, and we can find out the value of delta J. We can write down the formula for delta J is equal to sigma CBI xj. Clear? Minus Cj. This is the formula that we can use for calculating the net evaluation. So if we consider delta J1 means this one for x1, we can find out it like it will become CB1 x1 when I is equal to 1 and j is equal to 1. Clear? So we will get CB1 plus into x1 plus CB2 into x2 minus C1. Clear? So if we calculate the value of delta J, so here CB1 is 0, x1 is 1, so it will become 0 into 1 plus CB2 is 0 into 1, 0 into 1 minus C1, C1 is 3, so value comes out to be minus 3. Clear? So we will write here minus 3. So in the same manner we can calculate the value for value of delta J for x2, s1, s2. Clear? So in the same manner we will calculate the value of, and it comes out to be 0, 0. Clear? So in this way we can fill this table. Clear? Now what is the next step? Next step is we will find out the MR. MR is what? Minimum ratio. Okay, and it is the ratio of XB. XB is your value of basic variable, and the XK. XK is your key column. Clear? So what is the key column? So we will decide key column with the help of delta J value. So here we can see the value of delta J is -3, -2, 0 and 0. So we will select most negative value. Most negative value is -3 here. So this column will become the key column. Clear? So now we have the key column and we can find out the value of MR, that is minimum ratio. So what will be the value of minimum ratio here? XB. XB is 4, XK is 1 is equal to 4. Clear? And here we will get 2 divided by 1 is equal to 2. So these are the value of minimum ratio. Clear? Now we will select the minimum value here. Okay, and we will avoid if any negative value comes here, then we will avoid this negative value. We have to select the minimum positive value here. So we can see here that the minimum positive value is 2. So the row against this will become the key row. Okay, so this will become key row, and we can see that this is the key column, this is the key row, and this is the intersecting element. Okay, key row and key column, intersecting element is 1 here, and this element, this intersecting element is known as the key element. Clear? So this will become the key element. So what is the role of the key element? First of all, what we have to do, the key element is 1 here and it is against x1 variable. So what we will do, we will replace this s2 with the help of x1. Clear? We will replace this s2 with the help of x1. Okay, and what we have to do, we have to make this key element as 1 and the other element in the key column as 0. But we can see here key automatically we are getting 1 here. So our next step will be to make the other elements in the key column equal to 0, and for this we will use the row operations. Clear? Okay, so we have applied the row operations. R1 is equal to R1 minus R2 and R3 is equal to R3 plus 3 R2. These are the row operation to make the value of the key value of the variables which are other than the key element equal to 0. Okay, so as I had discussed earlier also that here the S1 and X1, here we will basic variable will become S1 and this will become X1. Clear? Now we will fill the table in the same manner. The value of CB means coefficient of basic variable. So coefficient of basic variable will become 0 and it will become 3 in the objective function. Clear? And then we have the value of the basic variables. So value of basic variable will be when we will put S2 and X2 is equal to 0 in the equation, in these two equations, and we will solve these for the S1 and X1. Then we will get if we see the second equation and we are putting the S2 and X2 is equal to 0. So we are getting X1 as equal to 2 and the value of S1 we will get equal to 4. Clear? So we are implementing the row operation here. So what we will get? We will get 0 here. This will become 2. This will become 1 and this will become -1 because of this R1 minus R2. R1 will become R1 minus R2 and this will be same R2 Okay, this is in reference with the last slide. Okay, and our R3 will become R3 plus 3R2. Okay, R3 plus 3R2. So we will get 0, minus 5, 0 and 3 here. Clear? After that we can find out the minimum ratio. So minimum ratio will become XB, which is equal to 4 divided by XK. Okay, XK is what? Okay, so first of all we have to find the key column. So we will select the most negative value of J. So most negative value is this one. So it will become key column. Clear? So we can find out the value of MR. 4 divided by 2, that is equal to 2, and then XB is 2 here divided by minus 1 means minus 2. So I have told you earlier also that we will avoid the negative term. We have to take the minimum value of the positive term. So we will take this one. Okay. So this will become our key row, and this is the intersecting element, means this element will become the key element. Clear? So our objective will be to make the key element is equal to 1 and other elements equal to 0 in the key column. Clear? Now we will again implemented the row operation. R1 will become R1 divided by 2 and R2 will become R1 divided by 2 plus R2. Okay, so first of all we will fill this table, but in the last slide, okay, this was our key element. So the variable against this is x2, means this s1 will be replaced by x2. Clear? So now our basic variable will become x2 and x1. Clear? And the value of the coefficient of these basic variable in the objective function is 2 and 3. Okay. Now what we have to do? We will find out the value of these basic variables when we will put S1 S2 is equal to 0. So S1 and S2 will become non-basic variable and X1 and X2 will become basic variable. Okay, so we will get the value of X1 and X2 with the help of these two equations as 1 and 3. Clear? Now we will write down the value of this x1, x2, s1, s2 after performing this row operation. Clear? So we will get 0, 1, 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2, and this will become 1, 0, 1 by 2 and 1 by 2. Okay, and R3 delta j, we can find out the value of delta j also in the using the formula. So we will get 0, 0, 2.5 and 0.5. Okay, and then we can find out the value of MR. MR will become XB divided by XK, but we need not to find out the XK and key element here, because we can see here all the values of delta J comes out to be positive, means at this stage we will get the optimum solution. Clear? So we have to ensure that the all values of delta J should be positive. So here we will get the optimum solution. So what is the value of basic variables here? X1 is equal to 3 and X2 is equal to 1. Clear? This is the value of basic variables. So what will be the Z? Z is equal to 3x1 plus 2x2. So we will put these values, 3 into x1, 1 plus 2, यहाँ पे आ जाएगा 3 into 3 plus 2 into 1, we will get 9 plus 2, is equal to 11. So value of objective function at this stage is 11 and value of basic variable is x1 is equal to 3 and x2 is equal to 1. So this is our optimal solution. So in this way we can solve our problems when we are having more than 2 variables with the help of simplex methods. Okay, so this is all about the simplex methods. Okay, so thank you.